The story of 7-month-old Emanuel Haro has been followed with heartbreak, outrage, and unanswered questions. What began as a report of a missing child in a California parking lot has now turned into one of the most closely watched courtroom cases in the state. Today, his parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, stood before a judge and entered their pleas. The hearing was brief but powerful, reminding everyone that while the legal process takes time, every step matters. With bail set at $1 million each, and with 2 critical hearings scheduled for later this month, the spotlight is now fixed on what the evidence will reveal, and whether justice will be served. Meanwhile, the most painful question still lingers: where is Emanuel? Investigators say they have strong leads, but his location remains unknown. This case is not only about one family, it has become a story about truth, accountability, and the community's demand for answers. And today's courtroom update brings us one step closer to understanding how this story may end. But before we dive into this, kindly subscribe to our channel if you believe in fighting for justice. Because every view, every comment, every subscriber is a stand against silence and a step toward justice. We've just crossed 5,000 subscribers, all because of your support, and we need that same energy to reach 6,000, then 7,000, and then 10,000. So go ahead and drop your fingerprints on that subscribe button, and definitely where you're watching from, because wherever you are, the day this vision is fulfilled, I will send my appreciation straight to you. Let's keep building this community that stands and fights for justice together. The case of 7-month-old Emanuel Haro has shaken California and beyond. What began as a sudden report of a missing infant quickly turned into one of the most scrutinized investigations of the year. Communities have been left in shock, following every development, waiting for answers, and today we finally have a significant update. Inside a Riverside County courtroom, Emanuel's parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, stood before a judge and entered their pleas. Both declared themselves not guilty to the charges they now face. The moment was brief, but its implications are enormous. It marks the official start of a legal battle that will not only determine the fate of the accused, but also reveal more about what truly happened in the days leading up to Emanuel's disappearance. The courtroom was tense, reporters filled the benches, and outside, community members gathered, many holding signs, others simply waiting in silence. The world has been watching closely, and now the question is clear. What does this new stage of the case really mean, and where does the investigation go from here? To understand the weight of today's courtroom update, we need to revisit how this case began. On August 14th, Emanuel's parents reported him missing from a parking lot in Yucaipa, California. The call for help immediately drew the attention of law enforcement, community members, and the media. For days, the public believed that a child had vanished without a trace. Search teams were mobilized, officers combed through parking lots and neighborhoods, and communities across California held their breath, hoping for good news. But as the days passed, investigators announced that the original report was not supported by evidence. The story that had initially fueled widespread fear began to unravel. Authorities came to believe that Emanuel had not gone missing on August 14th at all, but that his life had ended earlier that month. This revelation not only shifted the course of the investigation, it also shocked the community. A case that began as a missing child alert quickly transformed into something much more complex, raising questions about trust, accountability, and how such a tragedy could unfold. It is this combination of heartbreak, unanswered questions, and the gravity of the legal charges that has made Emanuel's case a matter of national attention. Across the country, people are following closely, waiting for updates, and demanding answers. On September 4th, Emanuel's parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro, appeared in Riverside County Superior Court for a highly anticipated hearing. Standing before the judge, both entered not guilty pleas to the charges brought against them, charges that include murder with malice and filing a false police report. The courtroom itself reflected the weight of the moment. Members of the media filled the benches, community advocates stood quietly in the back, and every word spoken carried an air of tension. This was not a verdict, nor a conclusion, but an important procedural step in the legal process. By entering a plea, the defendants officially respond to the charges, and the case is formally prepared to move forward through the court system. Both parents remain in custody, with bail set at $1 million each. The high bail amount signals the seriousness with which the court views this case, though it does not determine guilt or innocence. For the community, the hearing was a reminder that the legal process moves in deliberate stages, each step laying the groundwork for what comes next. As the gavel fell and the hearing ended, what stood out most was not just the words spoken in court, but the silence afterward. Outside, community members gathered, waiting for answers, holding signs, and reflecting on how the story has unfolded. Inside, the courtroom cleared, but the tension remained because this case is far from over. With the not guilty pleas now entered, attention shifts to the next steps in court. Two important hearings are already on the calendar. On September 16th, a felony settlement conference will be held. This is a routine part of the process, where attorneys and the judge review the case, discuss the evidence, and determine whether there is any possibility of resolving the matter before trial. While it is unlikely to bring final answers, it is a key step that shapes how the case will proceed. Then on September 17th, the focus moves to the preliminary hearing. This hearing is especially significant because it allows the court to review the evidence and decide whether the case has enough weight to move forward to a full trial. These hearings may sound procedural, but they are critical. They determine how quickly the case advances, what evidence is presented, and whether the community will eventually hear the full story inside a courtroom. As one legal observer explained, entering a plea is only the beginning. What comes next will set the pace and direction of the entire case. Each hearing is another step toward accountability, and another opportunity for the truth to come closer to the surface. Even as the courtroom proceedings move forward, one of the most painful questions remains unanswered. Where is Emanuel? Authorities have stated that they have a strong idea of where his remains may be. Yet, despite extensive searches, nothing has been located so far. For the community and for those following the case across the country, this absence has become one of the most difficult parts of the story. Without recovery, closure feels out of reach. Investigators have emphasized that the search is not over. Teams continue to review evidence, analyze leads, and return to areas of interest. The commitment remains firm, to find Emanuel and to bring resolution to a case that has left so many questions open. It is this ongoing search that keeps the case at the center of public attention. Court hearings may bring procedure and process, but the search for Emanuel brings the human side of this tragedy into focus. Until answers are found, the effort to locate him will continue. The Emanuel Haro case has not only gripped the courtroom, it has reached into homes, schools, and neighborhoods across California and beyond. The combination of unanswered questions, shifting details, and the seriousness of the charges has sparked both outrage and sorrow. Community members have gathered at vigils, spoken out at meetings, and taken to social media to share their thoughts. Many express grief and sympathy for Emanuel, while others call for stronger protections to prevent tragedies like this in the future. Adding to the weight of the case is the history surrounding Emanuel's father, Jake Haro, whose past conviction for child cruelty has resurfaced in public conversation. For many, this background has deepened the concern and frustration, raising questions about oversight, accountability, and whether warning signs were missed. Yet through all the sadness and anger, one unifying theme continues. People want answers, and they want justice. The public's focus on this case keeps pressure on institutions and ensures that each step of the process remains in the light. In that way, Emanuel's story has become larger than one courtroom. It is a call for truth, transparency, and accountability. As this case moves forward, one thing is clear: the road to answers will not be simple. Today's hearing was a reminder that the legal process is built step by step, and while justice takes time, each moment brings us closer to clarity. For now, the parents' not guilty pleas, the upcoming hearings, and the ongoing search for Emanuel remain at the heart of this unfolding story. The questions of what happened, why it happened, and how accountability will be delivered are still ahead. The truth may not come all at once, but it always leaves a trail. And in this case, that trail is being carefully followed in the courtroom, in the investigation, and in the community's watchful eyes. If you want to stay informed as this case continues, make sure to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and keep following along. Because while this chapter is not yet closed, every update matters, and every voice helps keep Emanuel's story alive.